It's not just about the photograph, it's the outdoor experience. Keep in mind everything that you need to know about photography. F-stop, shutter speed, lens selection. Nice photo. I've got beautiful light now. Oh my God. I'm your host, Doug Gardner, and your wild photo adventure starts now. It's no secret that Florida has some of the best bird photography opportunities in North America. This subtropical climate is considered to be one of the most complicated and biodiverse ecosystems on the planet. Join me as I photograph a variety of wildlife here at the Rich Grissom Memorial Wetlands, AKA Viera Wetlands. I'm Doug Gardner, and your wild photo adventure starts now. We've got a beautiful foggy morning. And the light's starting to lift a little bit. The fog's breaking up and the light levels are coming up. But right now we still have very low light. We've got some beautiful sandhill cranes right out here in front of us. The sandhill crane is considered one of the large cranes, and while Florida has a small population of sandhill cranes, the largest numbers of the sandhill crane population migrate through the Nebraska North Platte River Basin area, with as much as 450,000 coming through that area. It's really a treat to see these birds. They're magnificent birds. They have a very distinct call, and they're strikingly beautiful. You got that red crest, yellow eyes, and then that slate blue body, and really makes for a beautiful image out here in these grasslands. These birds are very large. They stand almost 4 feet tall. I love hearing them, the pair call back and forth to each other. This particular pair of cranes looks like they're exhibiting some nesting behavior. Look, both of them are picking up sticks and putting them in a pile right now. So this is a nice find. Now, the fog is actually really helping kind of soften up the image a little bit. I like the mood. I really like the mood that this is giving me. Now, this is another perfect example where if you have a neutral tone subject and a neutral tone background, which everything in this scene is neutral tone, you can pretty much trust what your camera's meter is going to tell you. Because remember, the camera's meter wants to make everything neutral gray, and that bird, his feathers are neutral gray. The grass, if you turn that grass, green grass, into black and white, it would appear neutral gray. So this is a perfect scenario. You can pretty much trust exactly what your camera's going to tell you is the correct exposure. Now, this is also a great example of where automatic cameras will do a really good job giving you a great photograph. You know, it's the situations where you have contrasty light and bright whites and real dark black areas. This is where your automatic cameras are going to have a little trouble, but this is the ideal scenario for that. Now that the sun's popping out a little bit, this changes everything completely. I've got to readjust my exposure. Now, I told you that you only want to use the highest ISO you have to. Well, now that the sun's popped out, I can start lowering that ISO rating. And what I'll always, when I'm trying to monitor my exposures, I will drop the ISO first, keep dropping it until I get to 100 or 200 ISO. Then, if I still have to darken my image down because the sun's getting too bright, I'll start adjusting shutter speed and aperture at that point. But I always lower ISO first and then start adjusting shutter speed and aperture. All right, these guys are, it looks like they're starting to work their way back into some thicker grass. I'm not gonna be able to do anything with it, but you know what? There's tons to see here, so let's get going and see what else we can find. Well, this is the reason you have to be really careful along the water's edge here at Viera Wetlands. You've got alligators everywhere, and you have snakes around here. So be very careful when you come down to the water's edge. Now, this little guy right here, he's not going to do much harm to you, but there are much larger alligators in these wetlands, so be very careful.